And one of our initial leaders, as far as decision maker goes, is our next speaker, Councilman Gary Hooser. Gary has educated himself. He has met, with folks and listened, which is a super important part of what it is to be a leader. And we are so thankful he is with us here tonight. We look forward to hearing from Councilman Gary Hooser. So please come on up, Gary. Thank you so much.
Aloha. I wrote my speech on a paper plate, so. No, I just wrote some notes there just in case I forgot. There's oftentimes when you speak, you want to make sure you cover everything, and then you go back to the other side, you think, I forgot to say this, forgot to say that. But I want to first of all say thank you to all of you who are here tonight, who took the time out of your life and to come and listen and learn and share your mana'o with me and others, hopefully later. My wife always tells me, Gary, you can't assume everybody knows who you are, so she told me I should tell you a little bit about myself. For those of you who don't, I mean, I see many friends and people I've known for many, many years here in the audience, but I first came to Hawaii in 1970. I graduated from high school here and lived in Honolulu for 10 years, did various odds and ends jobs, moved to Kauai in 1980, and have 2 children. I have a blue-eyed girl and a brown-eyed boy, and my son Dylan is running for the State House of Representative District 15. I don't know if he's here or not. Thank you. I'm very proud of both my children. This is not a campaign rally, but it's only fair to talk a little bit about who I am. I started a number of small businesses. I was in the real estate business, had a publishing company, small publishing company, and then I went back to school and I got my bachelor's degree through the University of Hawaii at Kauai Community College and UH West Oahu. And about 18 years ago, when I was in business, I wasn't happy with the status quo, and a lot of people was talking to my friends, how are we going to make change? How are we going to change things? And so I went looking for people to run for public office and couldn't find anybody. So someone says, Gary, you run, and I said, well, if you help me, maybe I'll do that. And so I ran for public office, I think it was 1996, and I lost my first race. And I worked really hard, really hard actually, and lost. And then I sat out and I ran again and I won. I served 4 years in the Kauai County Council. And then I ran for the Hawaii State Senate and was elected to the Hawaii State Senate serving Kauai. And I'm very proud that the people of Kauai have voted for me and allowed me to serve them. It's a great honor, a great experience, very fulfilling. People talk about it's a thankless job, people are often say, and I haven't found it that way. I found it very fulfilling, and a lot of people, and I thank you for doing that, tell me thank you. I tell people I'm caught in a positive feedback loop because I do my work and people come up and give me hugs, and then I do my work again, I get more hugs, so it's a good thing. When I was in the Senate, I was majority leader of the Senate for 4 years. Very interesting and another great experience of my life, learning and working with the 25 Hawaii State Senators as representing them as a majority leader. And then I ran for lieutenant governor and I lost, and the new governor, Governor Neil Abercrombie, appointed me to be director of the Office of Environmental Quality Control. So I went to work in that position and again, enjoyed the position, but it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to make bigger impacts. I wanted to be more free to make changes that I wanted to make and work for people and not work for the governor. And so I decided, for many reasons, to come back home because I'd been commuting a lot, and I ran for the Kauai County Council. And again, I'm thankful to be elected and to have you elected. There's a saying in politics that no matter how smart you are, no matter how hard you work, no matter how good you are in your heart, you cannot serve unless you get elected. And that's a hard reality. There's a lot of really smart, hardworking, good-hearted people that just, if you can't get elected, you can't serve. There's other ways to serve, but you can't serve in public office. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity. And part of that, when I came back, I never really left. I mean, I left my home here, but I was commuting a lot, living in Honolulu part-time. But when I came back, as I went around the community, it became very clear to me that there were deep concerns in our community about the experimental crops that are being grown and the pesticides that are being sprayed. Everywhere I went, and it wasn't just my North Shore friends. I tell people that. You know, I have a history of dealing with environmental issues, and it wasn't just my environmental friends. It wasn't just a Sierra Club or Surfrider. There were people all over the island, West Side, East Side, old, young, Japanese, Filipino, Caucasian. People would come up to me and say, Gary, what are you going to do about this? And so I proceeded. I'd always been concerned about the issue and had tried to do some of the stuff in the state Senate and never was successful. And even today, people will ask me, well, how did this all start? Reporters will call, or people will say, well, what's the reason for this, all this stuff? What's the reason for 2491? And so when people ask me, I said, you know, when I went around the community, I started hearing stories, you know, from people who were ill, people who live on streets with higher incidence of cancer on their street, they believe. People that feel that their personal illness is somehow caused by the fields that are across the street, by the pesticides that are being sprayed. And as I explored it further, you know, we all know that there are doctors. There are doctors who deliver babies every single day in our community. Not every day. They work for years here, and they deliver babies. They're pediatricians, obstetricians, and they believe, there are doctors at Kauai Veterans Memorial Hospital who believe that there are 10 times the national rate of certain rare heart defects in the newborns that they deliver. And they're concerned about this, and they're upfront about it. They say, we're not scientists, we haven't done peer-reviewed studies, we don't know if it's pesticides or GMOs or whatever, but we know there's a problem, we believe there's a problem, and we know our community is surrounded by these fields, and the pesticides are sprayed day after day after day. And then, as I look into it more, I mean, that's enough for me, quite frankly. I don't need any more than that to pass legislation or propose legislation that is going to regulate these companies. But beyond that, you start looking at Waimea Canyon Middle School, where children and students and teachers, I should say, and faculty literally go to the hospital because they get sick, and they also aren't really clear what's going on, but they also know they're surrounded by pesticides being sprayed. They're surrounded by experimental crops. We had 30,000 sea urchins die off the coast of the west side, and no one really knows what caused that. We have 150 residents suing Pioneer Seed Company. Okay, and in local communities, historically, those communities don't sue the largest employer. They don't sue the plantation. Yet these local residents are troubled enough by this and concerned enough about it that they have filed suit against Pioneer Seed. So with all of those factors in place, clearly we have an issue, clearly we have a problem. And I proceeded to ask questions. And so I met with the seed companies, and the chemical companies, I should say. And they proceeded to be less than truthful with me. And sometimes, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I'll say they lied to me, or they'll misrepresented things to me, or they were less than forthright to me. But I would ask basic questions like, I'm concerned, no one knows what you're doing, people are concerned, people are getting ill, people are asking questions, and you won't tell people what you're doing. And so the first thing they would say is, well, it's public information, you can go find it. And that is not true. Part of it's public information, most of it's not. It's very difficult to get. It's a kind of a lie that when you go to this crowd probably doesn't do this, but I used to do this. You'd go to 7-Eleven and you see the little sandwiches wrapped in cellophane. It'll say made fresh daily. Okay, made fresh in Chicago every day. And maybe you buy it 7 days after it's made. And so technically it's truthful. They are made fresh daily. It's kind of like President Bill Clinton saying, I did not have sex with that woman. You know, is it true or is it a lie? You tell me. But they'll say it's public information. It's not public information. They would tell me we only use what every other farmer uses. So I went out and I did special requests from the Department of Agriculture and discovered that is absolutely not true. No other farmer uses the quantity, 22 different restricted use pesticides, 18 tons every year. No other farmer uses that combination, that quantity, those types of pesticides, certainly not on Kauai, and I don't believe anywhere in our state. They'll say we use less, not more pesticides. Well, they're doing three crops a year here, and it depends on how they do it. It's just over and over. They would tell me, so I would say, people are concerned. You're a chemical company, you're a seed company, you're a pesticide company, maybe you're experimenting with pesticides. And they say, no, we're not experimenting with pesticides. So I did my homework, and I find out there's 2 experimental use permits that they've gotten. And I said, what's up with this? You know, I mean, you tell me you're not experimenting. I've got 2 experimental use permits. And they would say, well, it's not really experimenting, that we're only using them in a way that's not approved by the federal government. And so as a result of all of this, in many conversations in our community, we created, as a community, and I want to be clear on this, we created Bill 2491 as a community. It literally started in the living room of people in the community, Saul Kahn, Fern Rosenstyle, and a number of others. And we had a lot of help, Center for Food Safety, Earth Justice, county attorneys even, we won't go there. And we came up with this, and against all odds, we passed a bill that requires disclosure and buffer zones, both pesticide disclosure and genetically modified experiments disclosure, and has criminal penalties. And we did that against all odds, against the 4 of the largest chemical companies in the world, against a governor who interfered, against a mayor who vetoed it. We overrode it. And give yourself an applause for that tremendous effort. And it is truly a phenomenal feat. I've been doing this, making laws and being in politics for a long time, as I mentioned to you, and I have never experienced, I've been involved in a lot of controversy, a lot of important issues, and this, for me personally, has been the most meaningful one, and I'm most proud of my community and all of you folks out here as a result of this. So we did all this work to protect our community, to protect our health, to protect our environment, and what happens? These companies take us to court. You know, BASF is the largest chemical company in the entire world, okay? And they're suing you, they're suing the people and county of Kauai for the right to spray poisons next to schools and not tell us about it. Shame on you. Shame on you. That's correct. It's easy to get angry, and I often do when I think about what they're doing to our community and how they're holding us hostage with their money and their power, but we are not giving up, and we are fighting back. And I'm confident we won. The first time we went before the judge ruled in our favor and allowed Earth Justice and Center for Food Safety to represent us for free. And I'm confident that the bill is good, it's solid, and that we will win again. But it doesn't stop there. These same companies went before the state legislature and did their darndest to take away the power of counties in general to regulate pesticides and agriculture. Last year, Monsanto sponsored and supported a bill that literally proposed to take away the rights of the county. Okay, this is unbelievable. I don't make this stuff up. This was a bill. There's a section of law called Chapter 46 that gives the county their powers, power for police and fire and all this. There's a paragraph there that say the counties have the right to protect health, life, and property. Okay, Monsanto and their friends in the legislature proposed to take away the words health and life. Okay, and that shows who we're dealing with, their mindset that they're dealing with. And these companies, again, the largest companies in the world are suing us. Syngenta, the lead name on the suit. Syngenta is a maker of atrazine. Syngenta is a Swiss company. It is against the law to use atrazine in Switzerland, but they use it by the ton in our state. It's against the law to use their company in their own country, but yet they take it over here and spray it here on a regular basis. It's against the law to do open-air testing of experimental crops in Switzerland, but they do it daily here. We're up against some formidable companies and challenges and opponents, I would say. They're trying to take us on in court. We won on the bill. We were winning in court, I believe. We won at the state legislature, and now the upcoming elections are coming up, and they are going to be fighting us there. They are going to be trying to take out, I suspect, your friends, people that support our worldview, the worldview that I'm talking about here today, people like myself, Mason Chalk, Tim Bynum, and others. They're going to be trying to put their people in, and there's an initiative, a ballot initiative that is going forward. There's Dustin Barker is running for mayor. There's a lot at stake, and we need your help. If we want to preserve our gains, as modest as they are, and move forward to build a better Kauai for tomorrow, we need your help to register to vote and to support candidates who support the world and the future that you want for your children and for yourself. You know, what's this all about at the end of the day? This bill is only disclosure and buffer zone, so why are they trying so hard to keep us from doing this? All we want to know is the truth. All we want to know is what you're using and where you don't use it next to schools, hospitals, and houses. And there's two reasons. One is because if we know the truth, we're going to be really, really mad and upset, and we're going to push even harder. That's number one. But number two, it happened at one of the council hearings, and I'm almost done. I'll wrap up here. One of the council hearings, and it's live. You can watch the video if you go on the council website, or it's on YouTube. One of the executives, I believe it was from Syngenta, I asked him, I was chairing the committee, and I asked him, Mr. Kester, why are you guys fighting so hard with this? Why are you just keep pushing back? It's only disclosure. It's only buffer zone. Why don't you just give it up, let us do our job, and stop fighting? And he said, council member, he said, I don't think you understand. He said, there are other implications besides the law that we're concerned about. And I asked him, I said, sir, please tell me, what other implications besides the law are you concerned about? And he looked me in the eye and said, we're concerned that other communities might want to do the same thing. Okay? That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. The world is watching us. They know the world is watching us. Communities all over our country are watching. They're celebrating our victory. They're hoping for us, and we have to keep winning. We have to keep fighting, and we have to show the world that the little island that could still can. Thank you very much. Aloha. Thank you, mahalo. Thank you.